In this video, we will be going through major solve milestones of my cubing career, and I am doing this because solve 1000 is coming on the day I release this video. And as for solve 1, it was a 5x5 solve that happened to be a 3-minute time. For solve 50, it was also a 5x5 solve, although it was a significantly better time at about 2:19. And here's solve 100, it's a 7x7 solve, so this is another big Q solve, and this was my third 7x7 solve in my cubing career. This happened to be a just above 5-minute time. And now for solve 150, it is at the same competition but a different event, being square one. Square one I was really focused on in my early cubing career, and 22:59 was the time there. Now we have solve 200. This one is on clock, an event that I don't really practice much nowadays, but back then I was practicing a little bit more. I still wouldn't say I practiced it much, and that was around a 10-second solve time. Now we have Pyraminx here in Pyraminx in Pewaukee for solve number 250. Very convenient, and this event I've done very well in competition, and that solve specifically was a 7.10. But now we have Scube here. This is at Kenosha First A, and it is the most average Scube solve of all time, for solve 300 being very bad. Now for solve 350, we have yet another 5x5 solve, this one at 4x4x4 Madison Lakes. Unfortunately, this was not the best time, coming in at about 1:40, and that was the last solve of the list from 2024. Now moving on to 2025 with solve 400 at Naperville Winter. This is a 3x3 solve, and this was incredibly mediocre, coming in at a 12.75. But now we're on to solve 450 at Scube on the Madison Snow, and this 4x4 average was actually incredibly weird, and the last time here was actually a 1-minute solve, which sucks for me. Now we are on to solve 500 here, and this one is a clock solve. I think it is the second time that we have had a clock solve today, and this clock solve ended up being an 8.94, which is actually pretty good for me. Now we are on to Chicagoland newcomers with solve number 550, and this one is Scube, and Scube actually went very well for me at this competition, and as you can see, that solve was a 4.28, so we continued the theme there. And now we are on to solve 600. This one's a 5x5 solve at South Bend Scramble, and you can see I was not very happy with this. Solve 650, also Scube at Land of Lincoln 2024. I had this competition in June, and Scube went relatively okay for me here. I was happy with the time I got there, and now solve 700 is at Worlds, a very big stage, and it is 2x2, an event that I have practiced a decent amount, and that solve went okay. Solve 750, we are 3/4 of the way to 1000, and this is a 3x3 solve, and this one actually was pretty good. It ended up being a sub 10. Off to Great Lakes Championships 2025 here, and solve 800 is a 2x2 solve, and this solve ended up being a very solid low 3-second time. Solve 850 here is a special one because the solves all up to this point have been relatively okay or just pretty bad, but this one was actually a really good solve by me, and you could see by my reaction there, I was very surprised. Solve 900 is later in the same competition, except it was Megaminx, and the solve wasn't nearly as special. As you can see, I was not that happy with the time. And solve 950 here, this was a Pyraminx solve at Naperville Fall 2025, and Pyraminx has been good to me in competition. This one would end up being a low 5.